thing that is amiss is ticket prices being low. Low price of, at this point, guys, most fast food extra value meals would get you into the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese Atlanta Dream game on Thursday night.
$13. That's the number breaking the internet right now. $13 to watch Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese share a court, a matchup that just last season was selling for hundreds, sometimes thousands, on the resale market. Picture this. Front office executives staring at their ticketing dashboards, watching prices freefall in real time, refreshing the page like it might somehow fix itself if they just waited out. It didn't. Somewhere between the hype machine, the schedule, and the actual arena, something broke, and it broke fast. Is it the schedule killing demand? The market finally correcting itself? Fan fatigue setting in earlier than anyone expected? Or something the Fever organization desperately doesn't want getting out to the public right now? Whatever the real answer turns out to be, the silence coming out of Indiana is louder than any press release they could possibly put out to calm things down. And once you see why these seats got this cheap, you won't be able to unsee it or stop thinking about what it means next. So your brain starts firing off questions immediately, almost faster than you can keep track of them. Wait, didn't this exact matchup sell out almost instantly last year with people fighting over seats? How does a ticket for Caitlin Clark, the player single-handedly credited with reviving WNBA attendance numbers, suddenly drop to fast food money? Is this a glitch, a dump, or an actual warning sign that nobody in the media wants to say out loud yet? And if tickets are crashing this hard for this matchup specifically, does that mean the league's golden goose is already losing its shine faster than anyone predicted? Or is there a completely different explanation hiding underneath all the panic headlines? Something about scheduling conflicts, market saturation, or basic oversupply that nobody bothered to mention? The deeper you sit with it, the less this feels like a simple ticket story, and the more it feels like a preview of something much bigger coming for the entire league. This video breaks down exactly what triggered the price collapse, what it actually signals about the Fever's ticket strategy heading forward, and whether this is a one-off blip or the start of a real, repeatable pattern league-wide. You'll see how the secondary market reacted within hours of the drop, what front office insiders are quietly saying behind closed doors away from the cameras, and why this specific game became the canary in the coal mine for Caitlin Clark ticket demand going forward. We're not guessing here. We're laying out the actual numbers, the timeline, and the context, then letting you draw your own conclusion from all of it. But before we dive in, do you think $13 tickets mean the Caitlin Clark hype is finally cooling off? Or is something else entirely going on behind the scenes? Let me know in the comments. $13 and some change to watch Caitlin Clark go head-to-head with Angel Reese and the Atlanta Dream. Say that out loud and it sounds almost made up, but it isn't. That price point is lower than a value meal at half the fast food chains in this country, and that comparison alone tells you everything about where things currently stand inside the Indiana Fever organization. The instinct is to treat this as a simple supply and demand issue. More seats than buyers, prices drop, end of story. That misses the real problem entirely. Thousands of unsold tickets for one of the most marketed matchups in the entire league is not a scheduling fluke, it is a trust issue. Fans are not staying away because they suddenly stopped caring about Caitlin Clark. They're staying away because watching this team scrape by against teams it should be beating has worn people down. Once you separate the price drop from the deeper reason behind it, the real story starts to take shape, and it raises questions that go far beyond ticket sales.
Now, in case you don't know what that is, we don't have Circle K's here where I'm at in East Texas, but I know what they are. They're convenience stores, kind of like a 7-Eleven, right? Well, something is amiss down at the Indiana Fever's arena. And that thing that is amiss is ticket prices being low. Low price of, at this point, guys, most fast food extra value meals would get you into the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese Atlanta Dream game on Thursday night. $13 and some change. Okay? Hell, if that's Chick-fil-A, the Indiana Fever tickets are less expensive than going to Chick-fil-A. Some of these fast food places. And there are thousands of tickets still available for tonight's game and for Thursday's game. Fans, Caitlin Clark fans have made one thing very clear. They are not happy with the front office, and they are not happy with Stephanie White. The fact is, this team is underachieving. This team has barely survived against bad teams. Barely survived.
From there, the questions start piling up fast. Is $13 actually rare for a WNBA matchup, or has this exact thing happened before without anyone paying attention? Why would a Thursday night game against Angel Reese, someone who pulls in her own massive following, still have thousands of empty seats days before tip-off? Is this strictly about ticket supply and arena capacity, or is it tied directly to how poorly this team has been performing on the court lately? If prices are collapsing for one of the most hyped rivalries the league has right now, what does that actually reveal about how fans feel toward Stephanie White and her coaching decisions? And maybe the bigger question, is this really about Caitlin Clark's pull weakening at all? Or is it fans punishing a front office for a season that has fallen way short of the title expectations everyone walked in with? Here is the direct answer. $13 tickets for this matchup are not normal, and treating this like a minor blip ignores exactly what fans are telling everyone right now. Caitlin Clark has not lost her draw. Her name still moves more tickets than almost anyone else in the league. What changed is patience. This fan base watched a roster with championship-level talent barely survive against teams it should be dominating, and instead of showing up anyway, they decided to vote with their wallets. Stephanie White and the front office are absorbing that pressure whether they say it publicly or not. Underperformance always carries a cost somewhere, and right now, that cost is showing up in empty seats instead of post-game interviews. But ticket prices are only the visible part of a much bigger problem building inside this organization, and the next angle pulls back the layer most people are missing entirely. Caitlin Clark just got named Eastern Conference Player of the Week, and the numbers behind that honor are almost absurd when you actually sit with them. 25.3 points a game, 49% shooting from the field, 38.5% from three, and assist numbers that would be even higher if her teammates finished at a normal rate. What's right here is simple. The recognition is overdue and fully earned based on production alone. What's frustrating is how long it took for that production to get acknowledged, almost like the league waited until the stats became impossible to ignore before giving her credit. That delay matters because it exposes a gap between how dominant Caitlin Clark has been individually and how little that dominance has translated into team success or fan confidence. And once you put those two realities side by side, a much bigger contradiction starts forming in your head.
By the way, I can't believe I'm going to say this. The WNBA actually recognized Caitlin Clark. You may be like, wait, Rhodes, what? Yeah, hell may have froze over. Caitlin Clark is your WNBA Eastern Conference Player of the Week. 3-0, game winner at the Mystics. Tied franchise record for most 30-point double-doubles, 3. WNBA record, most 30-point, 10-assist games, 3. 6th in franchise history in three-pointers made, 183. Recorded 10th career game with at least 25 points, 5 three-pointers, and 5 assists. Second most in WNBA history. By the way, she's going to blow through all these before she's done, provided the haters don't run her the hell out of the league or her coach. But here we are. That's what this looks like. 25.3 points a game, 49% from the field. It does not hurt that Caitlin Clark has gotten a wicked little floater to the basket, making her layups, and this wicked fadeaway turnaround jumper she's got from about 12 foot out that she is knocking down like she's Kobe. Kobe! I mean, seriously. 38.5% from three-point range, 6.7 assists per game. By the way, that'd be like 11 a game if anybody could make layups. 4.3 rebounds. So, Caitlin Clark.
So now you're stuck wondering, how does a player putting up these kinds of numbers still have her own team selling tickets for less than a fast food meal? If Caitlin Clark is shooting nearly 50% from the field and tying league records, why isn't that translating into sold-out arenas every single night? Is this proof that individual brilliance simply cannot fix a broken roster or a struggling coaching strategy? Or does it suggest something darker, that fans have separated their support for Caitlin Clark from their support for this specific Fever team? And maybe the question that actually stings the most: if she keeps performing at this level, while the team keeps underachieving, how much longer before that frustration turns into something the front office can no longer manage quietly? Here's the take, and it's not complicated. These stats prove the ticket price collapse has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark losing relevance. She is playing some of the best basketball of her career right now, full stop. What's actually happening is fans separating the player from the product. They still respect what she's doing individually, but they've stopped trusting this team to turn that talent into wins that matter. That gap between her stat line and the team's win column is exactly where the real pressure on Stephanie White and the front office is building. Production this strong should be filling arenas, not leaving thousands of seats empty days before a marquee matchup. The numbers say one thing, the business side says something completely different, and that disconnect is about to get a lot harder to explain away. Pulling up real-time ticket data on screen is the move here, and it's the right one. Numbers don't lie, narratives do. What you're watching is someone refusing to let the league office spin this as a minor dip when the screen is showing thousands of unsold seats and prices crashing to single digits. Where this take gets shaky is the leap straight to "fans are racist" as the explanation for the fever dream gap, because that flattens a much messier situation: scheduling, market size, and a genuinely lopsided on-court product all matter too. Calling out the survey emails begging fans to come back is fair game, though. That's not speculation. That's the league quietly admitting there's a problem. The bigger story isn't one game's price tag. It's what happens when the hype machine keeps promising a rivalry that the box office increasingly doesn't believe in.
This is tonight, folks. $10.89 tickets for tonight still available. Damn. I mean, damn. All right. That's rough. That's rough. $11 tickets and 80 cents for a standard ticket. Look at the amount of seats that are available for this game. There are thousands of empty seats for this game all over the place. Again, I will give you guys credit. The fans that are unhappy right now, you're making it very clear you're not willing to pay up for tickets if you decide to buy a ticket. We saw this last weekend. Oh, we're sending out mass surveys. One of them I read, what would it take to get you to come back to a game? We ain't seen you this year. Where are you? I mean, seriously, I just realized this was pulled over. Hold on a sec. All right, let me pull this over a little bit so you can actually see ticket prices. Okay, there we go. There we go. So you see right there, $10.89. Damn. Damn. Thousands of tickets. Now, how about the high-profile Atlanta Dream game? Right here against Angel Reese. The scene of Indiana Fever Caitlin Clark fans are racist last year. That's the other thing. Not only the handling of y'all are a bunch of racists. I mean, how that was handled has not set well, right? And I think that's caused some backlash. $13 tickets, $13.09, thousands of tickets available. for what's supposed to be the WNBA's premier rival matchup. And I understand on the court, it's not even close between Reese and Clark. That in itself is not a rivalry. But supposedly in terms of popularity, that is supposed to be their premier rivalry.
So, is this actually just one bad night, or is the whole Caitlin Clark effect starting to crack under pressure? You're probably wondering why a supposed marquee matchup against Angel Reese is sitting at $13 a ticket, when last year this exact pairing was breaking attendance records. Is this about the fan base genuinely losing interest, or is it about scalpers and resellers flooding the market and tanking prices artificially? And if the league's own front offices are sending out panic surveys asking people why they stopped showing up, doesn't that mean they already know something's wrong? The real question lurking underneath all of this: if the two biggest stars in the league can't sell out a building together, what does that say about everyone else's ticket sales right now? This isn't just a blip, it's a correction. Last season's prices were inflated by pure novelty, and novelty always fades. What's left now is the actual appetite for the product, and it's smaller than the hype suggested. The resale market is part of it, sure, but you don't see $13 face value listings purely because of bots. That's oversupply, plain and simple. And the survey emails aren't damage control, they're a confession. Front offices don't panic poll happy fan bases. The uncomfortable truth is that the rivalry angle was always more marketing than basketball, and marketing only works until the product has to stand on its own. Stick around though, because the next clip shows exactly how the league is trying to patch this, and whether it's a fix or just another band-aid. So where does that leave us? $13 tickets were never really about Caitlin Clark losing her shine. They were about a fan base that's tired of watching elite individual talent get buried under team-wide underperformance, and a front office now scrambling to explain a gap it helped create. The stat sheet says superstar, the standings say something else entirely, and that mismatch is the whole story in one image. Here's the bold take: this won't be the last time a can't-miss matchup quietly misses. Because hype can sell out an arena once, but only winning keeps it sold out. If you want the next price drop, the next survey leak, and the next uncomfortable explanation broken down before anyone else touches it, subscribe now. This story isn't close to finished.